They say animals do not have souls. They say they act only on instinct. But anyone who has ever looked into the eyes of a rescued dog knows that is a lie. This is the story of how a $10 lunch saved an entire family from burning to ashes. It was a freezing Tuesday night. Mark was driving home from a double shift at the factory. He was tired, hungry, and broke. He had exactly $15 in his pocket until payday. On the side of the dark road, he saw a lump of wet fur. It was a dog, shivering violently in the mud. Most cars sped past. They didn't care. But Mark stopped. The dog was in bad shape. His leg was injured, and he looked starved. Mark looked at the dog, then at his last $15. He had a choice: buy dinner for himself, or save this creature. Mark didn't hesitate. He picked up the muddy dog, put him in his car, and bought milk and bandages instead of his own dinner. He named him Rusty. For the next week, Mark shared his small meals with Rusty. He cleaned his wounds. He slept on the floor so Rusty could have the mattress. Friends told him he was crazy. They said, "You can barely feed yourself. Why take on a burden?" Mark just smiled. He felt a connection. Rusty wasn't just a dog. He was a friend who listened when the world was silent. Years passed. Mark's life improved. He got married, bought a small house, and had a baby boy named Leo. Rusty was now an old dog. He moved slowly. He spent most of his days sleeping by the baby's crib. One winter night, a silent killer entered the house. It wasn't a thief. It was a short circuit in the basement. Smoke began to fill the vents. Invisible and odorless at first. Mark and his wife were in a deep sleep upstairs. Baby Leo was in the nursery. The smoke detectors malfunctioned. Silence reigned as the fire began to climb the walls. Suddenly, Mark felt a heavy weight on his chest. It was Rusty. The old dog was barking loudly, scratching at Mark's face, pulling the blanket off. Mark groaned, trying to push him away, but Rusty would not stop. He bit Mark's sleeve and pulled hard. Mark woke up angry, but then he smelled it. The acrid scent of burning wood. He jumped out of bed. The hallway was already filling with thick black smoke. He grabbed his wife. They ran to the nursery. Rusty was already there, standing over the baby's crib, shielding it from the smoke, barking continuously to make sure they found him. Mark grabbed the baby. They rushed out into the cold night air just as the windows blew out. As the firefighters arrived, Mark sat on the grass, clutching his family. He looked down. Rusty was lying beside them, panting, covered in soot, but wagging his tail. Mark realized something terrifying. If he had driven past that muddy lump on the road 5 years ago, if he had bought himself dinner instead of bandages, tonight, his wife and son would be gone. He didn't save the dog that night. The dog saved him. Kindness is never wasted. It is like a boomerang. You throw it out into the world, and when you least expect it, it comes back to save you. Here is a question for you. Do you believe animals have a sixth sense to protect the ones they love?